Welcome on this beautiful Saturday, guys. And I will tell you one thing, okay? To be financial YouTuber when a stock goes down and you talk about this stock very much, it's not easy, guys, okay? I get lots of messages. I'm getting to all of them. You know, it's very much important for me that you understand my point of view, okay? Also, I lost obviously a lot of money on Friday when we got the news, and oh boy, the stock reacted crazy. But, you know, I believe that first of all, we need to, again, fundamentally understand what we invest in, okay? We are investing in a pre-revenue, very high-risk company. Was this, one of the events that will never happen again? No. I can guarantee you that we will have these events throughout the next couple of years, okay? The stock will hit all-time highs. It will go down. It will hit another all-time high. It will go down. It will hit another all-time high. It will go down, okay? Working on the biggest and maybe one of the most difficult industries out there, if you think about, sending spacecrafts to the low orbit and someday, to orbit and beyond, is something that only a couple of people out there are really willing to invest money in, and secondly, really try to solve. Okay, it's one very big issue, and I believe that you can see by the sheer category of people who are trying to this is, crazy entrepreneurs like Richard Branson, or very rich individuals and super entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos, or very crazy people like Elon Musk. But once they succeed, we are having a very exponential growth of value in these shares, in these companies, okay? If you think about a couple of weeks ago, there was times where we had this bad news before, okay? I'm thinking about, the delay in the test flight program, okay? 2 times, right? But in the end, we flew, right? The flight of Richard Branson, delayed because of these things. But in the end, they flew, all right? And we have seen what the stock can do, and the market appreciate this as soon as those milestones were being hit. Was this a disappointment on Friday? Absolutely. I totally agree. And you can shout on the market, you can shout on the management, you can shout on the engineers, but in the end of the day, there is a delay, there's a delay, but this is not the issue. They're basically switching things up, okay? They're saying, okay, the spaceship enhancement period is very important, and maybe it's better to do it right now and then do the flight of the Italian Air Force and then start commercial operations. If this is the best choice for the company, then I, in the shoes of a CEO, would do that. Will outsiders maybe not understand this decision? Absolutely. We are not in the day-to-day business, okay? We don't know what the engineering are providing. In the end of the day, they're saying it over and over again. Priority number 1 is security, okay? And if you are working somewhere, you know exactly what I mean. Sometimes the management has to make a decision that even for the people inside the company is not understandable. So how it should be for people outside the company even more comprehensible? Sometimes it doesn't, okay? And you have seen the market react because the market obviously anticipates things from a company. They are anticipating, oh, now it's the next flight, and if this is not happening, then, obviously people are saying goodbye to the stock. And it's totally understandable, but at some point, as a long-term investor, you don't care that much, in my personal opinion. This is at least at my point. I said, okay, I saw the news and I said, okay, not that great. For sure, the market will punish the stock. But in the end of the day, there will be a point where they fly the customers, and then, because they did it exactly like they did the other things that they said they will do, and then the stock will be higher. Okay, so I mean, what I really see, it's kind of a deja vu. Okay, kind of a deja vu. I went through this already. That's why this time it's not that bad like it was the first time. The first time it was a little bit all new to me, okay? I said, Tesla is a great company and they do great things and it's a great management, okay? What happened? Well, Tesla cars got on fire. The Model 3 will never work. The Model 3, until this day, doesn't cost $35,000. Delays in timelines of Elon Musk's, okay? Problems with supply chain and production and mass production of the Model 3. So close to bankruptcy. And still, I went through the storm because I knew, okay, I'm onto something and I think it's right. And I love these high-risk companies because eventually when this work out, then I will be rewarded exponentially, okay? And exactly that happened. Maybe this will not happen and never happen for Virgin Galactic, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Richard Branson is wrong. Maybe Shamas is wrong. But I believe from all the research that I'm doing in one of my biggest positions in my whole portfolio that I'm onto something here, okay? I like the way the brand looks like. I love that they solve a big problem, how to bring people safe to low orbit and back. I love that there is tremendous amount of customers for this company. I love that, they have a world-class team to build a product that is so unique that in the future it will be almost a monopoly, with just a few different other companies that can offer this service, So, I'm liking this risk. It's not always for everybody, this volatility. Some people get super shocked. Some people, throw all their money into one stock and hope that it's going to take 10x. But it is a high risk company. And it's not the last, I'm guaranteeing you this. This is not the last time that we will see this kind of drops, okay? There's always things, even bigger companies, when they do stuff the market doesn't like, the stock goes way down, okay? I'm just saying Cambridge scandal with Facebook. I'm saying the Apple Maps. Was it the Apple Maps? That it was super buggy and, super bad. Maybe that was Steve Jobs was leaving. Because of illness, the company of Apple. All of these things at some point are getting on the big scale, on a long-term perspective, very, very small issues that companies overcome. All right, that makes a strong company. And I feel like in just the short time, we have quite had some difficulties that we overrun. Okay, we had delays in the test flight program. We solved all the things. We had some problems with the spaceship. We solved all the things. We were delayed on Richard Branson flight. We did the Richard Branson flight. So, every problem that was there in the short time of Virgin Galactic was eventually resolved. So also this is resolvable, okay? And if you are thinking about this kind of hard problems that they are working on, then I'm strongly believing, like also they did prior to that, always the right decisions, okay? They decided to make the problem with the EMS, for example, fix that first and then fly, right? Imagine, and this is hard to imagine sometimes, what would happen if they would rush things? Maybe something catastrophic, right? You never know. So in the end, I'm appreciated that they are putting safety first, and this is the number one that they should put in. Yeah, with that being said, let's have a look into the PR that they actually released, because I think there's a couple of things that is really, really important here. So Virgin Galactic begins planned vehicle enhancement and modification period Unity 23 test flight rescheduled to follow completion of this program. Okay, so this news came out. Recent material testing returned new data that requires further analysis. Italian Air Force mission to follow enhancement period. Potential supplier component issue has been resolved, which was a very good news. This was something that I was a little bit worried, because it was something new. I think that this is something good that this was resolved. Commercial service expected to commence in Q4 2022. I mean, this is nothing new itself. Okay, we knew that they are going. If you're going into maintenance and enhancement period, okay. But I really like that they're being so open about this. I mean, think about that. Nothing really changed, right? I mean, yes, the dates of the flight changed, but in the end, they decided to go a more safer route than it's not like they are saying, oh, now we reschedule the commercial service to next year or whatsoever. They are just, saying, okay, you know what? We feel better when we put this maintenance period prior to the test flight, and they did. So, I mean, I understand the fact that, and we will go to some analysis how Wall Street reacted, because you remember the stock was pre-market minus 25%, and then basically ended up, I think, 16 or 17% negative, and aftermarket it even recovered a little bit. So depending on the overall market, I think this will sometime I mean, this is, in my personal opinion, is too overreacted, but we will go to that as well. But you see here that nothing, there's not big news, not bad news that came into the picture, right? So think about that. Virgin Galactic today announced that it will now begin its planned enhancement program for VMS Eve and VSS Unity, and will conduct the Unity 23 test flight after this work complete. The enhancement program is designed to improve vehicle performance and flight rate capabilities for VMS Eve and VSS Unity. In preparation for this work, Virgin Galactic has been performing routine tests and analyses to update its material properties database. This data predicts how materials are expected to perform under certain load and environment conditions, and is used to inform the design and manufacturing enhancements that will support increased flight frequency. By the way, just to inform you, after the enhancement program, they will be able to fly every couple of weeks instead of months. Okay, what does it mean? Let's assume, I don't remember the number, but I think it was somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks. And this means, let's take a half of it, 5 weeks. That means that in 2023, at least, we should have about 10 flights. Or in other spectrum, maybe also another flight in the in the Q4 of 2022. So maybe even 12 flights, total over the period of 2022 and 2023. And just to compare, because everybody say, oh no, Blue Origin is way further than that. Well, Blue Origin just announced that they want to have only 7 flights from now till 2023. So technically, Virgin Galactic will have more flights over the next period of until end of 2023. Just saying, okay? Just saying. So guys, whatever people are angry and shouting on the markets and the let me just see. Yeah, guys, just be reminded, be very friendly and polite in the chat. Otherwise, I need to ban you. Yeah, so I had to ban Young Tren, and he will be stayed banned for the rest of the lifetime on this channel. So he will not be able to write anything anymore. So just be aware. We are a cool community. We want to act with respect to each other. And if you don't like the content, you don't have to watch it. But if you like my personal view, you of course are invited to enjoy this free content, okay? But I really, negativity is always wrong. And that's not only about, the internet, and the internet is nice place to be negative, It just shows you that if you are negative, it shows you that you have a certain insecurity in your life, okay? And you try to keep it out. And I think the more positive you can be, even in a stress situation, as more this shows the strengths in your personality. So I really appreciate if you think about that. There are obviously consequences if you are negative here, okay? We always want to stay positive and polite and have a certain amount of respect for each other. So I really appreciate that. I know that this is a little bit of self-explanatory. Okay, so same like you would talk to your relatives or to your friends. Please be it in a very proper manner. So we don't like, to shout each other or to, disrespect each other, because in the end of the day, that's just negativity that you need to work with, okay? This will just make you feel worse, and, I just don't like that. So stay positive, guys. Stay very respectful to each other, and then I will definitely love to see that. So so let's go back. So as I said, you are seeing that the flight frequency and the number of flights is actually more than Blue Origin. So if you compare just the quantity of flights, Virgin Galactic will have more flights than Blue Origin in the next couple of weeks and months and years to come, okay? One of the recent laboratory test flagged a possible reduction in the strength margin of certain materials used to modify specific joints, and this requires a physical inspection. So this is basically saying, they did some tests like they do in the laboratories, and they saw, okay, after this couple of flights, it's maybe now better to make the maintenance problem now than or the enhancement period now than later on, okay? So, and I think, in this kind of situation, you always don't know also what happened in the other end. Same like people are selling stocks, they could sell stocks for many reasons, but you never will know the right reason, okay? So first the official statement is that, but think about maybe the Italian Air Force also had some scheduling issue and said, okay, instead of waiting, we have something other to do or other projects. Let's fix the spaceship and we will, or enhance the spaceship, and we will do that next year. We are not in a rush, okay? So maybe, think about that also things that they might not want to put on their customer would also be another reason that they moved the enhancement prior, and to be honest, even if they don't make the Italian flight and they, even though it's a paid flight, yes, but if they start commercialization even faster, that would be okay for me, okay? As sooner as this maintenance period and the enhancement period is over, guys, as sooner we start to fly people into space. Think about it. Actually, the time frame got shortened in this perspective, okay? So so you see here, guys, it's not like, you know, you can see it this way and this way. Definitely, I think it's overreacted from the stock price in any way. As a standard in aero test and evaluation practices, Virgin Galactic ships are designed to withstand forces that are substantially higher than those experienced in the regular use, providing additional margins, layers of safety. Yeah, that's normal because, you know, also in the aerospace industry, is you know, what is really important, that, you know, they are having kind of layers of potential, let's say, safety. So for example, there is a backup of a backup of a backup, okay? And if you are knowing the industry a little bit, or what is going behind the scenes, you know, one of the great books is Test Gods, which I read about Virgin Galactic early days, and you see how much really it goes behind it to build this kind of spaceships. So that's just good information to know. Okay, there's very, very high safety margins where you know, I mean, comparable what went during the X Prize to slow orbit and back, and what we have now is comparing wooden self-built garage car versus a Ferrari. Okay, so I'm not so much worried about the performance of the airplane, and in the end of the day, they flew already a couple of times up there. So yeah, it's something that they just mentioned here, and I think that the enhancement program is, you know, solving all of that. The enhancement program is designed to further increase margins that will enable improved reliability, durability, and reduced maintenance requirements when in commercial service. While this new lab test data has no impact on the vehicles, our test flight protocols have clearly defined strengths margins, and further analysis will assess whether any additional work is required to keep them at or above established levels. Given the time required for this effort, the company has determined the most efficient and expected path to commercial service is to complete this work now in parallel with the planned enhancement program. So as you can see, they having always in mind when and how fast we can come to commercial service. Okay, it's not like they are coming out and saying, you know, wow, how can we produce the next delay? Also, they want to have the spaceship fly as soon as possible, because, for example, the bonus of the CEO, like Michael Colglazer, is combined to the success of Virgin Galactic. The increase in money of Shemaz Palihapitiya is connected with a successful Virgin Galactic. The wealth of Richard Branson is connected to a successful Virgin Galactic. So, you know, saying that this is all scam and the dump and bump are so low comments, that this is, again, the shouting on the market, right? If something doesn't go your way, obviously everyone else is, you know, the reason for it, but not you. I know that, guys, and I went through these periods as well. You know, choosing some stocks, and, you know, 10 years back, choosing stocks out there doesn't. But, you know, in the end of the day, I learned that lots of the news and reactions on the stock markets are sometimes great noise to go through and really understand what's behind. Okay, so that's my personal opinion. Following the enhancement period, the company intends to complete the vehicle testing program for VMS Eve and VSS Unity, including the planned research test flight with the Italian Air Force, before starting commercial flights. Michael Colglazer, CEO of Virgin Galactic, said, "Our decisions are driven by detailed and thorough analysis, and we fly based on the most accurate and comprehensive data available. Virgin Galactic vehicles are designed with significant margin for safety, providing layers of protection that are far exceed the loads experienced and expected to occur on our flights. The resequencing of our enhancement period and the Unity 23 flight underscores our safety first procedures, provides the most efficient path to commercial service, and it is right approach for our business and our customers. We are deeply appreciative of the Italian Air Force research mission and grateful of their continued partnership with us in this test flight program. Okay. This schedule update is unrelated to the company's recent inquiry into the potential defect. So, okay, so just for that paragraph, I think Michael Koglaser is just saying the same. That's nothing concerned to be concerned, because the spaceship is built. The spaceship is built. One second. I just had to put user who mentioned that Virgin Galactic is a fraud in ban. So this is basically the paragraph here that is mentioning again what we just heard. Also the CEO staying with his statement. It's basically the forces that are applied to the spaceship. They're having such a great margin of safety that shouldn't be any let's say effect. So and then there's another one which I really liked, because the schedule update is unrelated to the company's recent inquiry into a potential defect in the supplier component announced on the September 10th. You remember the flight control system that they said, okay, maybe there is a problem with that by the supplier where they are getting them, which has been successfully resolved, while the supplied component in question was not either in VMF Eve or VSS Unity. In accordance with safety protocols, Virgin Galactic completed detailed inspections and scans, which found all components met quality and safety standards and were ready for flight. The enhancement period is now beginning approximately 1 month later than anticipated, and commercial service is now expected to commence in Q4 22. I think that this is something that is well, drafted. Obviously, I think they when they do this kind of decisions, they know, okay, this can very much fluctuate the stock price, and actually this happened. But before we diving into the stock, I would like to go just recently in something that also was quite interesting. So CNBC and other media outlets obviously directly reacted, as well as investment houses, okay, that covering the stock. So for example, Wall Street reacts, okay. Bank of America lowered its price target for Virgin Galactic to 20 a share from 25 per share and maintained its underperform rating on the stock. It cited increased uncertainty and lack of clarity from the company around the change. You see here also, even though the news was so bad, they just reduced the target price for the stock, not dramatically, like not half of it or something like that, okay? Which speaks like between the lines, in my personal opinion. We are uncertain about the company's ability to forecast such a future and unknown event after the recent failure to call the timing right on a relatively known short-term event, Bank of America analyst Ron Epstein wrote in a note to clients. The company failed to outline how progress will be tracked and communicated to the public throughout the enhancement program. Well, yeah, obviously they just want to announce it first, and then we have the quarterly earnings where they can update on the program, obviously, so I find this a little bit low, the comment, but anyway, it's his right to comment on the stock. Then there is another comment, or another couple of comments, which are then a little bit better, and you see that, you have to go also through the smoke, all right? So we continue to view the enhancement period, which will raise VSS Unity flights readiness to every 4 to 5 weeks and VMS endurance to 100 flights, to be important to... sorry, I jumped that one. Okay, so Concord Genuity kept its $48 per share price target and buy rating. It told investors that the firm does not see Virgin Galactic change schedule to be significant. an effect of the company's long-time horizon space tourism plans. And this is what I'm saying, guys, okay? Nothing really changed, okay? They mix up a little bit things, a little bit of turmoil on the markets, but long term, nothing really changed. We continue to view the enhancement period, which will raise the VSS Unity's flight readiness to every 4 to 5 weeks and VMS Eve endurance to 100 flights, to be important to boosting customer launch cadence. Then likewise, Trieste maintained its buy rating and its $50 price target, but told investors that Virgin Galactic adjusted schedule equates to lost momentum in the space tourism race. That I would agree on, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit, or was a little bit of a bummer. It's better than they are saying what they are doing, but, you know, in the end, again, we're coming to the other point, we're turning around that nothing really changed. And in a worst case scenario, we believe space could see signs of a market leading position erode, with the stock drifting lower. Trust analyst Michael Giaramoli wrote in a note, "We believe this delay appears to be immaterial to space longer term in restricting value." All right. So this is what Wall Street thinks. They are staying more positive than negative, in my personal opinion. Yeah, so the stock lost about 17%. Let's have a look into the stock chart, which now looks, obviously, let me just clear the drawings here. Here, obviously, you saw this momentum that we didn't like. It, you know, I mean, we hope that it will cross the 50 moving average and then try to attack the other ones. But for now, and guys, I'm telling you this straightforward, you know, the stock can go even lower, okay? I can even see the stock going to 15 maybe, or to the next resistance, which would be, or support, which would be maybe at 15, you know. There's technically not much that can support the stock, okay? Let us have a look. So here's definitely a big support, okay, at 15 or almost 16. Maybe also here somewhere at 19, 18 something. Those are, I think, the most crucial levels here, and maybe then somewhere 11. But I don't see the stock going back to IPO price, to be honest, except the overall market is going crazy, okay? So I think that the next price support levels for Virgin Galactic, does it hurt? Temporary, yes. Long term, I think as better we come from lower levels, as more you can make money if you average down, in my personal opinion. But again, you know, you need to be ready mentally for the stock, okay? It's not like a piece of you know, a piece of a walk in the park with this kind of stocks, okay? But the reward can be quite ridiculous, right? So I definitely see the stock going back to those levels at some point. Maybe it's in a year, maybe in 2 years, you know. But having the stock back at, you know, $7 billion, $8 billion, $12 billion, $14 billion in market cap is a no-brainer in terms of the long-term perspective of the stock, okay? And then if you divide it, okay, the stock made, let's say, 400% over the next 2 years. That's like 200% per year. I don't think your Apple stock or Amazon stock or the S&P 500 can make 200% per year. So think about that as well, always in your thesis. But it stays a high-risk company, guys. I'm saying this always, you know, always very, 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 very high risk with a high reward levels, okay? And then there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about today, because in just about, I think 9 days or 12 days, something, end of October, there is the stock lockout period that is actually going to end, which means that some investors are able to sell their stocks, okay? This usually in the first thinking is like, oh my God, you know, all of those people who cannot sell more stocks will sell their stocks. There will be for sure some insiders that will sell their stocks, okay? But there will be also there is always a little bit of a deeper look necessary, okay? So what I'm doing is like, okay, we have a lockup period. Let's have a look who are the investors into Virgin Galactic, okay? So if you are going to the top Virgin Galactic shareholders and you're having some individuals here, which is, for example, Adam Bain. You know, he is, I think, he is an independent director of Virgin Galactic, Bain is also a director of social capital Hito Sofia. So he is basically a partner. Sorry, I need to share this screen. Bain is basically a partner or a LP, a limited partner of Shamas Palihapitiya. So he could be someone who I think, I don't know his conviction on space, but I think, you know, if he's aligned with Shamas, he shouldn't be the one who sell all his shares. If he is locked up, this is something that, you know, would need to be researched. But, you know, in the end of the day, I don't think that he will sell a lot of shares if he is in the same mindset of Shamas. Which I believe personally that he will not sell too much shares. If you listen to him, you know, he is really core convinced about the long-term perspective of Virgin Galactic. I know it sounds sometimes a little bit confusing because you see the headlines selling and so on, but he sold also Tesla shares while he is maybe one of the biggest bulls of Tesla, right? So he sold a little bit of Bitcoin because he needs to finance and reinvest his money. And many people will not understand this because they are not financially adequate to that, but you know, that's how investors do that. You know, think about Warren Buffett selling airline stocks. Even, you know, he loved airlines for so long, you know. So I think that the next person also will not have too much shares to sell and will be more of a holder. Moses, I feel like he's one of the OGs of Virgin Galactic, right, from the very beginning. And I really think that he will not sell. He's I don't know even if he is on a lockup period because he is so long into into the game, and this is basically his baby. He recently sending his wife up to space 2 times in a row. Okay, so I'm not really convinced that he's someone that would sell a lot of shares. The last time when he sold shares, it was a very small amount, and it was only for tax purposes. Okay, then we have the institutional investors, and this is a more interesting part. Okay, so here is the big shareholders, obviously, Virgin Investments, and also here, I could imagine that Virgin Investments, which is basically Richard Branson and his investment company, could sell a little bit more of Virgin. I could imagine that. But they will definitely stay, with a lot of shares with Virgin Galactic. Okay, this is his baby. This is his dream. And, just being invested, putting the money on the line. This guy, he will have shares in Virgin Galactic until he dies. Okay, so that's not my concern. SCH Sponsor Corp, which is basically the holding company of Shamas Palihapitiya, sold 0 stocks so far. Okay, just to remind you, it was all personal shares of Shamas Palihapitiya that he sold. They still have a lot of shares in Virgin Galactic. So I guess if he makes some money management, also here I could see a little bit of sales of stock. But remember, guys, this people are smart. Okay, why they should sell? If they need money very urgently, then they will. But other than that, they will wait until the stock the next 2 years will be back at 50, 60, 100 or something, and then sell some stock, okay? So it's basically the more smart thing to do. And then there is Vanguard Group. There's also, it's basically a big mutual and ETF house, which I don't see that they will sell a lot of stock. They are very long-term investors, so I think that they will also not sell. Then there's, the UAE partners, right? Mubadala, I think, investments, Abar investments, and so on. I think also they see Virgin Galactic as a very long-term investment and keep on investing into Virgin Galactic. So, I don't see really who should sell a lot of shares. And then in the end, guys, there's also the other way. It doesn't has to mean if the lockout period is over that now it's, a lot of shares to be sold. There was times where stocks actually went much higher after the lockout period was created. You know why? Here's an example, okay? The US Securities and the Exchange Commission, which is the SEC, cautions that investors need to understand the risk involved before buying a stock that still has a large chunk of shares locked up. When lockup expires, restricted people are permitted to sell their stock, which sometimes, if these investors are looking to sell their stock, results in a drastic drop in the share price due to the huge increase of supply of stock, the SEC notes on its website. The end, and this is now an important part here, the end of a lockup period, however, can also be beneficial. If insiders don't sell, investors with short positions might be forced to buy stock to cover their positions. Okay, so in other words, short sellers who are now in Virgin Galactic counts that maybe a lot of people will sell their shares during lockup. If not, they are forced to buy the shares, and then this can increase the shares price also dramatically. So in any case, it could be volatile at the end of the month in either direction, okay? For example, in 2012, as a result, Yelp shares surged 22.5 after its lockup period ended, the biggest one-day gain since its IPO 6 months earlier, okay? So it doesn't have to be always negative, can be also positive for the stock price of Virgin Galactic. And last but not least, I think you got the mission. My mission is to be a long-term investor and to go through this short-term pain. Remember that short-term thinking leads to long-term problems, okay? And there's a nice picture that actually I got from a subscriber on Instagram. If you haven't followed me yet on Instagram, then this is it. Wolf of Dubai Danny. You can text me there. I'm watching all the messages out there. I'm trying to respond to all of them. It's a lot these days, obviously, but I always try to be connected with you. I appreciate that you're watching my videos every single day. This means so much to me. And therefore, I'm here for you with daily free content every single day with almost no days off. Today is weekend, still here for you, okay? For such a bad time, obviously, I will share my opinion. But I will show you a picture now that is funny, but also sad because this person didn't have a long-term view, for example, in Tesla, okay? And this is the picture here. So this is not the picture, but this is kind of describing the current situation, right? If this is your first Virgin Galactic drop, then I'm very sorry about that you have to go emotionally through that. Then here, for example, 2011, Jim Elo, he invested 3,000 shares at $30 in Tesla, okay, 10 years ago. And he sold almost all around $40 in 2013. And he thought, I made $10 per share times 3,000 shares. He made like $30,000 profit. Okay, he was so happy. If I hadn't listened to the FUD stairs, which is basically what we are seeing now in Virgin Galactic as well, right? Fear. Really fear into the people. Tesla will never succeed. The cars are burning. They can never scale this. Car manufacturers will jump on Tesla and build much better cars and so on. And if he hadn't listened to those people, he would just would just hold the easiest way, just hold the stocks, 3,000 shares each, $30 would be now 15,000 shares of Tesla. Okay, times almost $1,000 per share, which we will reach with Tesla for sure at some point. That would be $15 million. Okay, so think about it. You like to be long-term investor or short-term FUDster? Thank you very much for watching. I love you all. Leave some love by hitting the like button, and guys, stay always positive. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you obviously tomorrow with a brand new live stream, and I'm really would appreciate if you follow me also on Instagram, and take care.